In this paper, Christopher Hutton explores the interplay between language, text, and urban spaces, focusing on Hong Kong's linguistic landscape. The paper discusses how economic forces shape the city's signage and textual environment, creating a contrast between a futuristic, sleek aesthetic and a cluttered, organic past. He categorizes two different kinds of spaces. One is vernacular spaces, and the other non-places. And recently, I went to two different places, I would say, which is next to each other. One is Jordan and the other Kowloon, or people nowadays call it West Kowloon. The following pictures or footage that I'm going to show are all taken on the 6th of May along Jordan Road within the vicinity of Jordan and Kowloon residential area. Right, so let's start with Sorrento. Here you see Sorrento in its design and its Chinese translation. It's bilingual. There isn't a preference for English or Chinese. You see a Sorrento, there is a specific design which you can say describes as the crescendo and then or diminuendo and then crescendo in music terms. And then here you have the waterfront. The Chinese is bilingual with larger Chinese characters and also specific, more like handwritten. And then you can see the waterfront, which the English name is all lowercase, which is different from Sorrento, all uppercase. And then here you can see it's a more zoomed out picture of the name of the waterfront. Here you can see it's shifted to the left, and then it just leaves a whole lot of space on the right. It's just on the left, that's it. It's kind of different to Sorrento, where its background is just plants. And then here you see restaurants and bars and Civic Square, which is a part of the shopping mall element. Here it's only English and everything is capitalized, which is similar or consistent with the design language of Elements, in which Elements also is completely capitalized in its sign, as you can see here. But this time the font is different. It's more like a, I guess, area, and then it's under its logo, which here is a monotone instead of the more colorful red color of its logo on a quite plain background, I would say. And then here you have some shops. Let's start with Ramoa, which is a more modern suitcase or travel store. Here you can see it's very simplistic, which suits non-places characteristics. It's just plain Ramoa with no specific designs. And then here you have its logo, which is, again, just very simple. There is an M, there is a, it's not a square, it's a slant square. I suck at maths, there is a name for it, but whatever. Let's move on to Montclair, which is very similar. Again, there's, I guess it's more like a serif font with a little bit of flair at the end. And then on the right, you can see his logo, but again, it's very, very simple. Nothing spectacular or significant with these logos, it's just the words. And then here you see Dolce and Gabbana, which again is block characters, but now it introduced a sense of Globalese, which is something introduced by Adam Jaworski. It's creative typography, or not necessarily creative, but here you can see it's not just and, but there's a symbol replacing it. Again, here you have another store, Alice and Olivia by Stacey Bennett. Sorry, I butchered the name, but here you can see again, it's a plus sign in the middle, which is in cohesion with the Globalese of linguistics. It's just characters instead of, I guess, words. And here I don't know how to pronounce this, but again, it's using and symbol. I don't know the name of the symbol, but it uses a symbol instead of an and to resemble Globalese. But again, with other luxurious brands around in the mall, it's just block characters. And here you have Y3, which is using a dash instead of, I don't know. It's just very simple. You've got capitalized or not capitalized block letters, and then in some cases you have symbols that resemble Globalese. Or for Y3, there is some creativity to it. I guess there it's a sign next to the store which it uses a different kind of effect. I don't know especially the effect, but it prints on different pieces of structure that's sticking out, and then it from different angles you can see the name. And then here again, 360, which is a more premium supermarket, I guess, is under marketplace. But and here you can see again, it's very simple. And here again, you can see Globalese, which uses the number 3 instead of completely spelling out the word 3, which the T is replaced by the number. Now, as you have seen, a lot of the signs, a lot of the symbols from the Kowloon area, the Kowloon residency area, very simplistic. Nothing much sticks out other than the waterfront Yuanyat-gu. The Yuanyat-gu really sticks out. It's more of a more carefree character, I guess. It's the same with, I guess, Harborside. I didn't take a pic of it because it's a bit further away from where I have to walk to. But the same with Harborside is Chinese characters are more carefree. It's more like handwritten Guanam Tinha. But the Harborside, the English is still block. A lot of the English side of signages within this area is in block letters. As you could see from the examples that I've shown, everything is, or most of the signages are monolingual. The English is in block letter, either capitalized or lowercase. It's all gonna be capitalized or all gonna be lowercase. The font isn't anything special. It's block, it's area, or it's serif, or it's sans serif. It's very simple. Nothing stands out because in a non-place, functionality is something more important than the design language, I guess. But the shops are gonna say the design language is minimalist or something like that. But whatever they say, it's just simple. Nothing stands out as long as it functions as the name of the shop. It indicates that, okay, this shop is Louis Vuitton, or this shop is Chanel, this shop is Gucci. That's fine. You don't need something that stands out because it's luxury, it's luxurious. The name of the brand in itself is already big enough to stand out to other brands, I guess. Which is very much different to Jordan, which categorizes into more vernacular space because it isn't designed to be luxurious. It isn't designed to be upper class. It is more of a mid or even lower class space around some place like Dosengai, where the buildings are very old and they're only recently going under construction or reconstruction. And now let's dive into it. Let's move into Jordan. Right, so I'm now just walking from the Kowloon residential area, as you can see. And you've got the big element sign right there. And then now on my way to Jordan. I'll be skipping Austin, which you can see here, because I don't think Austin is in any of the residential areas that I'm exploring today, which is Jordan and the Kowloon residential area, because it's like its own little place, right? On top of the Austin station is the Austin, which is like a place for people to live in an estate, and that's it. There isn't much. So now I'm on my way to Jordan, away from the bougie place, as you maybe can say, the higher class Kowloon. And it's very different already, you can tell. Let me show you. The buildings are already vastly different. You can see this is more of an old design. This is very old. In fact, I think more than 100 years, maybe not. Some of them are under reconstruction, and then you just see it. Not even the residential area. You can barely see it, but there's Toronto. And then you've got this new construction, which is
I guess it will look very modern with the windows. And then when you compare that to this, it's just different, you know. It's just one is even with the Austin. I'm not trying to dive into the Austin, but you compare these two to those, and then it's just you can tell which is, I guess, higher class and which is low class, or not even middle class. I guess this is middle class. And then you've got quite a long walk, right, from Kowloon to Jordan. Not that long, but if gonna go into deep into Jordan, maybe 15-20 minutes. And then things start to look very different. And I'll show you later. But right now it feels like you've got this long road, and it just kind of separates the two areas, you know. It just separates Jordan away from, not even Austin, but it separates Jordan from Kowloon, which makes one more superior than the other, you may say.
Right. The first thing into Jordan you see is already a very different sign. This is now an LED sign instead of what you see in Kowloon, just pure sculpted backlighting signs, right? It's using LED lights. It's still bilingual. It's using LED lights with different colors. You can see the yellow, you can see the red, you can see the background being green, right? And here you've got another LED sign, green words, yellow words, red words. It's more contrasting, right? It gives more older or origin vibes of Jordan. It's monolingual, it's not pure simplistic, it's not chasing for the minimalist, but it's just different. And here you see more diversity. You see on the walls there are different printed signs on it. And on the bottom left, you see another printed sign, but this time it's not printed on the wall. It's printed on a cloth and wrapped around. And in the middle, you can see another sculpted sign, but this time the Chinese isn't just pure block letters, right? You can see another LED sign there. Here, you've got another sculpted sign. On the top there, the France Alliance of Hong Kong, I suppose. But this time, the font isn't just like the block letters you see in Kowloon. The font is very different. And on the right there, Chinese sign, again, using different Chinese font. It's just so much diversity. And here, again, it shows the different Chinese styles. They all use different fonts compared to the ones before or even within this image. And on the bottom left, the DB safety store, it's not just using words, it's using also color scheme and images. And then right there, you see a cluster of all these posters, right? And also, it's just, you won't see this, you won't see the cluster. And here, another cluster, but this time, some of them were ripped off, right? On the left there, you got law consultation. On the top, you got rental services. On the right, you got plumber services and also construction services. But you can see some of them were ripped off, the traces left behind. You won't see this in Kowloon because this just looks messy, right? It isn't upper class. Here, again, there are more Chinese, I guess, Chinese vibes to it. On the right there, you see the wall is using color scheme and design language that is definitely Chinese related, the red and the green. In the middle, inside the store, you can also see more handwritten signs. And here more examples. On the left, on the mailbox, it's literally handwritten on a tape and just stuck onto the mailbox as a sign, indicating whose mailbox this is. And in the middle, everything regarding the information of the flats being sold is literally handwritten onto it. It's not just printed. Here, another handwritten sign, but this time it's not just pure handwritten. It's also using a traditional Chinese pen, the fur pens, I suppose, right? It's using different fonts, it's using different handwritings. When you compare it to top, it's literally printed out. It's, I guess, bilingual, the center line commercial, but everything else is Chinese. Here you see another sign, right? It's moving, it's live, it feels like it's alive, right? You see the LED, you see the light just flashing, changing colors. You see some of them are broken, which you definitely won't see in Kowloon because you've got to fix it immediately. Right, and then into Temple Street, right, on the gate, it's literally using different font, something you won't see everywhere. It's more like cursive in English, but the Chinese again using an older font because of the tradition. And here you can see a more upper class type, I suppose, because everything now goes in English now goes back to block because it's jewelry and money related. Right? But again, looking at different stuff, these are again using different materials and font types. In the middle there, you can see a neon light, which you won't see everywhere anymore. Right? And here you have it. The difference you can see is it's just there, right? I didn't really take a video in Kowloon or around the Kowloon residency space because it's very easy around that space if you're like recording, holding a phone, recording everything. It's very easy for you to get kicked out, right? Because it's upper class. I didn't record anything. It's very silent. It's you've got nothing. It feels dead. Of course, I'm recording this on a weekday, but still, it feels dead. It doesn't feel like living. But when you go into on the walk to Jordan from Kowloon, you can just hear everything. You can hear the liveliness, right? And it's just not hearing. Into Jordan, you can see the diversity. You can see very much everything is different. You've got a lot more going on, right? And Jaworski, he he notes that elite spaces uses silence as a branding tool, right? High-end storefronts limit text, which you can see it's shown everywhere in Kowloon or in Elements, I guess. It's silent, it's quiet, it's minimalistic, right? It's a design language, I guess. It's a design choice, but it's very different. It's contrasts sharply with Jordan, where you've got a lot more text, you've got a lot more diversity, you've got a lot more materials. The city or the area, the vernacular space is communicating within itself. Everyone is communicating. The signs are communicating, right? It feels like it's alive, right? Well, the non-places, of course, is gonna be expanding within Hong Kong because Hong Kong's urban landscape is indeed evolving, and that results in vernacular spaces shrinking. And as what I've said, you've got more reconstruction going on in Jordan because, well, it isn't efficient enough, it isn't functioning enough, it isn't functional, right? But doing this reconstruction makes things seem dead inside, right? The non-places seem dead. It's not alive. It's very much silent. Where when you go into a more vernacular space, more organic, more original space, you can really feel the city pumping. And it's something that the city loses when it's going into a more urban direction, right? It's something shown in even Tsinghua 1881 Heritage, where it's moved on from a more traditional, its origin use, its redesigned, it's reconstructed into a more touristy spot. It's supposed to be a mall, a shopping center, but now it's dead. People go there, of course, to take pics, but there's no communication. It's dead, it's silent, it's kind of useless, I'd say. It doesn't show anything, it doesn't show the history of the city, and that's something that vernacular spaces bring to Hong Kong, and something that non-places doesn't do. Luxury, of course, upper class stuff, but it's important, of course. The upper class needs their entertainment, I guess. These are their entertainment, but at the same time, the city needs its storage for memory, and vernacular spaces provides that, and that's what I think, and that's what I've taken from a small walk from where I live to the neighboring space. Right. Until next time.